I think it's either MGTOW or passport bro. I think those are the only two options that men should even consider. But what do I know? But I did come across where maybe you guys should go. Where should the passport bros even go? Like, what's the best place? I've been asked that, and I was like, I don't know. So I looked it up. Welcome back to Far From Eden. Please hit like on your way in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to get the word out that it's not a safe environment for men to, get married and cohabitate. And another place where I really want men to realize they're not alone. So many men go through divorce and just get their guts ripped out, and they think they're by themselves. So if they find this channel, they will find out they're not by themselves. It's so many, countless men have been through the exact same thing. It's both infuriating and comforting. It's like you're not the only one. Anyway, so this beginning part is talking about how they came up with this list. This is the top, I can see. This is the top 15 countries. I think I Googled, like, what are the top places to find a wife. That's what I looked up. And so I got the 15 countries with the most faithful wives in the world. And they say, in order to come up with our list of the 15 countries with the most faithful wives in the world, we conducted extensive research and referred to 7 independent sources. It doesn't say what those sources are, but all right. Initially, we identified over 40 countries mentioned across these sources. Each time a country appeared on a source's list, it was assigned a single point. Based on these points, we ranked the countries and identified the top 15 countries known for having the most faithful wives. Well, I don't know if that made sense to any of you. It very well could have. My brain stopped computing that about halfway through. Kept reading it just in case it was supposed to make sense, because just because I don't understand doesn't mean it doesn't. All right. Oh, I didn't even see this part before. I just saw a list. All right. In sickness and in health, until death do us part. These familiar words are part of the most famous line, but we often hear at every church wedding from 2 distinct people who decided to finally tie the knot. Also, I just want to say, I don't know if this is true, but my mom told me that it's not in sickness and in health. It's in sickness as in health. So that's interesting, right? Anyway, where was I? Tie the knot. Being a married person is not as easy as you might think it is. Oh my God. A husband and a wife, after getting married, must start to consider their partner before jumping to a certain decision in many of the things that they often do or decide alone. Okay. From living alone to moving in with your better half, and from dating different people, to staying faithful and committed, truly makes marriage one of the most crucial parts of our lives. I do not think that word means what you think it means. No, crucial means important. Crucial doesn't mean difficult. Crucial means important. This just used it like it meant difficult. See, now we have to doubt everything. But we're still going to go through it because I think it'll be interesting to see what the countries are and to see if we think we agree. Let's see. Or maybe some of you guys have had different, maybe some of you guys know where the best places are. I know there are at least a few of you who have, been to different locales. Actually, somebody said something about Colombia. Anyway. So they misused the word crucial. A happy and successful marriage isn't simply a result of love and commitment alone. But there's that word happy again. But it also requires active effort and mutual respect from both parties involved. This is not the time for me to tear all that up. It's not the time. So we'll just do this. Chivalry is not dead. Man, they're tempting me to comment. Chivalry is not dead. While it is true that every wife craves a nobleman, a wife who deserves a knight in shining armor is rare to find. Oh my God, this is such a different, I just want to tear it all up. Many women still exhibit unwavering loyalty to these partners, but this does not apply to all. Today's women are highly educated and seek partners who match their educational level, leading to higher expectations in their search for a life partner in every country in the world. Women have made significant advancements in education and achieved financial independence, resulting in a more professional mindset. Okay. U.S. News conducted a research composed of 17,000 people from different countries and revealed that, here we go. Oh my God. Sorry. 17,000 people from different countries and revealed that Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, and Switzerland are the top 5 best countries for women with regards to how they value human rights, gender equality, and income equality. Oh my God, among others. These countries can also be labeled as, oh my gosh, I don't even have it. What in the heck? Hold on, stay tuned. What? Oh my gosh, they're gonna leave us hanging. Wait a minute. 15, 14, there's the countdown right there. Oh, that was not cool. I didn't even know that there was a whole intro part, and then they tease us with all this stuff I just disagree with so much, and then it's not even finished. Well, that was fun. So those countries, I can finish it for you. Those countries, was it like Norway, Sweden, Finland, Switzerland, and Denmark? Yes, because it's all the Scandinavian countries. They are the best countries for females. Well, they're the most egalitarian. I don't know how happy women are there, honestly. I'm not sure how happy they are. I think it's where, they try to make everything as egalitarian as possible. Like go into STEM, women go. And Dr. Peterson's like, yeah, but things polarized even more there. Women went into more sort of traditionally female roles, and men did what they do. It didn't make them meld into one. So that's funny. So I just kind of finished and added to the end of that. We didn't need to hear them. Anyway, so the 15 countries. Hopefully you guys hit fast forward and skipped over all my rambling. Gosh, this is small even with my classes. So this is the 15 countries with the most loyal wives. Number 15, Russia. Russia ranks 15th in our list of countries with the most faithful wives in the world. Russian women captivate men from different cultures with their apparent lack of interest in the prevailing feminist movements found in many countries around the world. That's so funny. Russian women generally believe that patriarchal dynamics contribute to a more harmonious family life. Indeed. Indeed. I have actually read that Russia was a good place, but we get fed so much. I don't know if it's real or not real. How do I know what's really going on in Russia? Is it a terrible place to live? I don't know. It's not the Soviet Union anymore. So, I don't know. Anyway, so I tend to think they're probably right on that one. They're probably right that it's a good country to go to. And you're looking at more of a Christian nation, too, which I think, even if you're not Christian, you should be able to objectively look at that and go, but their societies are a bit more, I don't know, civilized. We don't cut people's hands off. I'm just saying we don't tend to do that. Indonesia is number 14. Many Indonesian women know how to look stylish and youthful. A lot of them possess slim figures and slender waists. Indonesian mothers are more than just a mom. Even after bearing multiple children, they tend to maintain physically fit bodies and retain glowing skin. I don't know who wrote this. It's almost worth reading just because it's so bad. Okay, so we're saying what Indonesian women are stylish and youthful. They're more than just a mom, and I guess that means that after having children, they're physically fit. Like, I don't know, but Indonesian women are hot. That's what I read. I liked what they said about the Russian women, about that they don't really embrace feminism and they like the patriarchy. I'm like, that sounds like, so far, I'm going with Russia. Saudi Arabia. The most faithful wives can often be found in countries with conservative cultures, where adultery is strictly forbidden, either by law or due to religious limitations that discourage such behavior as a sin. I think that sounds like a great idea. Maybe not how they do it, but I think that the ideas are sound. Saudi Arabia is a country with very strict laws for women. That is why it is extremely difficult for Arabian wives to engage in infidelity. It's a favor. You don't want to do it. I would bet you that most women regret it after they do it. I'm not talking about the hoe bags. I'm talking about like a woman who steps out on her husband. I really think that they do. I think they regret it. Maybe that's just me thinking about my own mother and father. But I certainly know she regretted it. She really regretted it. And maybe it was because that there were consequences. But that's another story. Number 12, Italy. Oh, I'm such a dork. Okay. Italian beauty radiates with the timeless Italian style. Oh my God, it's so bad. While not every woman in Italy possesses the passionate temperament often associated with Italians, there are many Italian wives who are both beautiful and deeply committed to their households, husbands, and families. Okay, so Italy's good. Italy's very Catholic. That's what I would say. Italy is where these women were raised Catholic. They understand, and they understand it would be shameful. It would be a shameful thing to do, to be an adulteress. They wouldn't want to do that. That light is bugging me in my glasses. There we go. That's better. Sorry about that. I'm learning. Dodge the lights. I don't know. Anyway, so, and there goes the heater. Oh, we're working on it. I haven't gotten the first check from YouTube to purchase the microphone, and I'm also going to get like a webcam too, so that, because I'm using my phone. But anyway, Number 12, Italy. We covered that. I think it's because they're Catholic and they're raised with, these are the rules, these are the Catholic rules, and we are not going to embarrass ourselves and our families by being a hoe bag. It would be frowned upon. That was actually a thing. I think that still rings true. Number 11, Ukraine. Ukrainian culture leans towards conservatism in a lot of aspects, with a strong emphasis on the sanctity of marriage. Ukrainian women give so much value to building a family that when one enters into matrimony, it is expected that a considerable amount of effort will be invested in family life, as it should be. I mean, duh. Typically, Ukrainian women devote themselves wholeheartedly to their relationships. I sense a theme. We have Russia and Ukraine, obviously right next to each other. They're similar people as far as ethnically, so it makes sense that the underlying culture would be the same. And I believe their Christian church is the same. I think it's Orthodox, which I'm pretty sure. And so that's interesting. So far we have 2 Muslim countries. I would count Indonesia as a Muslim country. So Indonesia, Saudi Arabia. We're just making, generalizations here. We're just studying this because we got to figure out where's a good place for you guys to go. So we've got 2 Muslim countries, a Catholic country, and 2 Christian countries. I understand that Catholics are still technically Christian, but I think they need to be separated as far as culture, because it's a little bit culturally different. I would still lump Catholics and Christians together before I would lump either one of them with Muslims culturally. So if we're looking at where you guys should go, I think we need to look at culturally, and we need to see, why are these women faithful? Is it because of an inner something, or is it because the law forces them? How is it manifesting from the inside of the woman because of how she was raised, or is it coming down because of the law, or is it both things? Because you have to live with the woman, right? So it would be good to kind of understand how these women are culturally, anyway, and why. All right, number 10, Pakistan. Pakistani women display remarkable dedication to their husbands and families, placing a high value on the virtue of chastity. Good. The majority of Pakistani women are known for their sincere commitment as wives. A significant number of women genuinely hold deep respect for their husbands. Well, I hope so. So yes, another Muslim country, similar reasons. South Africa. Well, hello, that's kind of, I wasn't expecting. South Africa ranks 10 in our list of countries with the most faithful wives in the world. South Africa boasts a diverse array of attractive women, encompassing not only those with dark complexions, but those with fair skin. Something for everybody. What a weird first, I guess they run out of stuff to say. Within South African countries, the role of the wife holds great significance and commands deep respect, as it is believed that South African wives serve as the crucial link in connecting ancestors to future generations. Well, I don't know if that's the case. I could be totally wrong, but I'm like, you've got the influence of the Dutch, you've got the native people. That's a very split kind of culture. I mean, which South Africa are we kind of talking about? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it's very different. Are we talking about the Netherlands-esque, or are we talking about Africa? Different reasons. They both might be conservative in a way, but it's going to be for different reasons. So I can't endorse South Africa. Hold on a second. One of the weird things that the MS does, and it took me a long time to figure that out, is the multiple sclerosis will cause whatever nerves operate my vocal cords to be inflamed, and then I won't have a voice. So I feel like if I keep it cold and I don't know, I don't even know if it does anything, but it makes me feel like it's helping. So when my voice is a little, you'll hear it when it's not as strong. Anyway, Somalia is number 8. So that's a Muslim country. So we already have it sort of, we're organizing these guys in kind of some categories that we have so far. In Somalia, any inappropriate gaze towards a married woman is met with severe consequences, including immediate punishment such as amputation or death. I'm sorry, I was nodding along before I knew. Or death by stoning. Well, we can't all move into a more advanced time. And never mind, let me just keep on going. Wives in Somalia bear the responsibility of providing for their children and surviving independently. What is going on there? It is worth noting that nearly half of Somali women are married before they reach the age of 18. In light of these circumstances, Somali girls find happiness in meeting someone who can offer them love and protection, and in return, they often prove to be incredibly loyal wives. Okay. They provide for their children and survive independently, but we're talking about wives. So we need to throw Somalia off the list. That's way too confusing. Number 7, Colombia. This one is interesting to me. It's like, I don't know, it's in left field. Colombia is home to a multitude of stunningly beautiful, sexy, and smart women who can easily captivate any individual with their allure, like Shakira. That's the only one I can think of. Colombian wives are known for their unwavering loyalty and steadfast support. Through good times and bad times, Colombian wives always stand by the side of their husbands, never leaving them alone. Colombia is an interesting suggestion. Interesting place to go. You could stay in this hemisphere. Wait, no. You could stay on this side of the world. I should have just said that. Stay on this side of the world. Spanish is easy to learn. I think it's the easiest language to learn. Flights might be cheaper for when you're going down there, meeting, whatever. Interesting. You might look into what the cartel and all that is doing, but that's a man thing. I'm just trying to help with the women. So far, we recap from 15 through 7. My favorites are Russia and Colombia. I'm laughing because I used to just watch the mainstream news and I just believed everything. And I used to think more like a woman and be like, oh my God, that's so scary. And then just whatever. And number 6, Japan. Okay. Interesting with what we know about the herbivores, the dudes who are like, no thank you to any of the women. What do you guys think? All right. Interesting. Japan is home to some of the most devoted and respectful women in the world. They're submissive. Culturally, historically, they are more like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, think about Karate Kid Part 2. Think about those women. Now that type of woman would make a good wife, right? Those Japanese women. I don't know how much of that has stayed true in the culture. I'm sure Tokyo must be a whole different situation than like Okinawa. I only know Okinawa because that's where Mr. Miyagi was from the Karate Kid. Anyway, so yeah, I think about that, if they're still like that. Okay, here we go. Japanese women willingly fulfill their husband's requests as they believe that a husband's happiness in marriage is one of their top priorities. Yes, absolutely. If you know that whole happy wife, happy life? No. If women could figure out, because we're dumb, how to, like, if we could figure out that it's the opposite, if you can make that man happy, he gives you the world. It's like anything you want. Like, it just make an effort to make him happy. Good Lord. And I'm not saying do it in a manipulative way, like I'm gonna do this so he gives me. I'm just saying, you find a good man and you make an effort to make him happy, forget it. I mean, it's like men will just, they love. They're great. They're amazing creatures. They really are. I'm a big fan. I have become a huge fan of men as I've learned about you guys. And they'll call me, pick me all day just because I like you guys. I can appreciate what you are. When a Japanese woman finds a good man, she exhibits unwavering loyalty and devotion, making them the most faithful wives in the world. Yet they're number 6. So, that's a weird sentence, but I like it. They did a good job selling that one. Japan is definitely, that's definitely one to consider. I would do a little more research just to make sure that all of this, postmodern, leftist, communism, woke stuff, like all that, feminism. I should have just said feminism. I would check, but you should check everywhere. You really should. But Japanese culture was so strong, just so strong. And their sense of nationalism, of just like, we're going to keep all of our beliefs strong. They were just such a nationalistic country. And so it might be that it was harder for feminism to permeate. It might be. I feel like we don't know anything. Japan is such a isolated place, I just feel like it would be so interesting to go there. Because it must be like when you're in New York City and you feel like that's the whole world. Or when you're in Southern California and they think that's the whole world. It must be something like that. So perhaps it was difficult for feminism to permeate into that, perhaps. All right, well, we know there's hot women here. Brazil. I bet you guys are like sold and booking your tickets right now. Yes, but Giselle left Tom. But then, she was here. Aside from their passion for football, ha ha ha. Oh, that's terrible. Another aspect, maybe they mean soccer. Never mind. I don't even think they realize what they said. Aside from their passion for football, another aspect that Brazilians are passionate about is sex. Okay, I didn't know I was going to say that. But they don't just give it to anyone. They keep it only for their mutual intimate partner. Is this translated from Chinese? It's like when you get instructions or directions or something, and or like assembly, and it's translated from Chinese. You're like, that's not how we talk. When it comes to marriage, a Brazilian woman is prepared to set aside her wild party status and her wearing of sexy skirts or shorts and devote all her love, care, and affection to her husband. Can't turn hoe into a housewife, boys. Do not do it. No. She'll put her wild party side. No, don't do that. If she's had a wild party status, then you need to walk away. That is, as they say, you guys say, for recreational use only. I am not for that. As you know, I'm like little Miss Prude over here, that I just try to follow the rules and stay in God's order. I realize not everybody has those beliefs, so I want you guys to stay safe. These women sound like, the nightmare you want to avoid. And I understand it's not all Brazilian women, and they've got to make up something to write for every country. Brazil would also be Catholic. I would imagine it would be similar to Colombia. You'd probably want to steer clear of Rio, for example. That would be a bad idea. But if you were in a village, it's possible that the Catholic culture... Brazilian women take pleasure in spending their days at home, cooking and caring for their children. Yeah, but if they were at the club for like years before that, it doesn't matter, because it'll call them back. You can't take them out of I guess you could take the girl out of the club. You can't take the club out of the girl. So you need to be careful of that. Yeah. The thing I was going to say about Catholic countries, these things I'm not used to, it hurts. Anyway, the thing about the Catholic countries, if you're not Catholic, a couple of roadblocks. One is that she might only want to marry a Catholic. However, if the family stability and, if her family stability monetarily, financially, if it's still better to marry, then they might consider her marrying somebody who is not Catholic. So if that's the case and she marries you and you're not Catholic, be careful, because when she's not participating in her religion, in her Catholic religion, and going to mass and going to communion and having, if she's not still close to her family, then all the baptisms and first communions and all the rest of it, when they're involved with the church in such a way that it changes the type of wives they will be, then it takes up some of their time. They have a rosary, they pray, it's part of their routine. It's a woman thinking outside herself, right? That's what the religion is doing for her. I'm trying to say this in a way that it makes sense to people who don't believe in something higher or don't have a specific belief. If that stops for her, the part that it instilled in her and continued to infuse in her will begin to dissipate. And I worry that as that happens and she becomes more distant from her faith, even if she says she still reads her Bible and she still prays, when she's pulled out of that culture entirely, then you could run into some trouble. I would say that it's not necessary that you convert to Catholicism, although I would love it if, another person came to believe in Jesus Christ. But if you didn't convert to Catholicism, I would 100% still encourage her to do it, as much as possible. Go to mass, volunteer, be very involved in the church. I just think that if you move to one of these Catholic countries, that is a really good thing to do, is to make sure that your wife is involved in the Catholic Church that she's been a part of, or if she moves, make sure she's involved and connected to that. Thinking of something outside of herself, being in a serving mentality, being around like-minded people. So she's not around people, not the people would be there, but it's the opposite of being around people who are like, yeah, you should leave him. Because if there's any kind of trouble in your marriage, which there will be, because there always is, that's just how life goes. So if, there's trouble and she talks about it, any woman there, would say, she's not going to say, leave him, She might say, you're overreacting. She might say, yeah, well, that's how it is sometimes. Kind of get over it. So that's a good thing, to make sure that you have that. Now, don't think that having somebody in a Catholic church here is anything the same. It's not. It's not. It's too much feminism everywhere else. Even if you had a Catholic church here that wasn't infused with feminism, good luck. But because even if the church isn't, the people who are going to it are. So no, not here. That's why it's passport bros or MGTOW. Okay, number 4. South Korea. I don't know. In South Korea, it is common for people to marry at a relatively young age, as they strive to get a head start in their careers or establish a family. What? Marry at a relatively young age as they strive to get a head. Oh, so, okay. So they marry young in South Korea because they already got their career handled. So it's just assuming that we think that you get your career handled first, then you can get your husband. So it's relatively young. So what does that mean? Like, what, before 30? Oh, wow. Wow, how amazing they are. God. Jeez. Korean women approach romance and relationships with a strong sense of seriousness and dedication. Seriousness. That's funny. Once married, a Korean wife gives her full commitment and resilience to her husband. That might be true. I'll tell you what. I mean, there's been a lot of Christian ministry in South Korea. A lot. Before that, I mean, really, China, communism, I couldn't tell you what their religious history was. But I do know that there's been quite a lot of, I know probably everybody's like the Reverend Sung Young Moon or whatever his name was. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, I remember that. I don't think that necessarily shaped them as a culture. I could be wrong, but I don't think that it did. So it's something you could look into it. You can look into it. I mean, the stereotype that Asians are submissive is a stereotype for a reason, right? It just is. It's part of their culture. I'm not insulting anybody. I actually think it's beautiful. But, in our feminist culture, that would be an insult. How dare you call them submissive? Seriousness and dedication. Just thinking about my sister. She's South Korean. Seriousness. Well, I could see it, and she's dedicated to her husband, man. She's my idol. She did it right. She did it right. She did it right. So, I mean, in that case, I really should be like, there's probably something to it. I'll tell you, from my experience with the one Korean that I'm very close to, that I grew up knowing, I'm telling you, when she makes up her mind, it's a done deal. So she was like, she committed to that man, and that was her man, and that was the first and only man, and it was great. And I love it because she did everything right. And it wasn't like there was anybody telling her to. There wasn't any kind of music that celebrated it. She just did it. So, I don't know. I don't know, I'd look into the South Korea thing, but that's my bias. Number 3, China. I see a theme happening. Didn't I just say about the submissiveness? Chinese women approach relationships and marriage with a strong sense of responsibility, which is why they tend to be loyal and dedicated as wives. I think also the communism in China is like, this is what you need to do. You will marry a person, you will make more people. This is your duty. So I think it's very good to have a sense of duty. I think wives, definitely in Western countries, have no sense of duty because they have no sense of you should do anything. But I think when it's all duty and there's no religion at all, then it's nothing coming from within. So I don't know if that's marriage either. I don't think that that's a reason for a man to want. I mean, not the men from the Western countries, I wouldn't think. But for what it's worth, their top priority is their family. I mean, whatever the current dictator says, or whatever Mao said, the majority of Chinese women do not want a short-term relationship. They often go on a date with the vision to marry, and that's why it is common for Chinese women to aspire to have a lifelong marriage. And also, it's what the regime wants, so I don't think so with the whole China thing. Number 2, definitely a theme going on here, Vietnam. Very interesting. I think I know what number 1's going to be. We're always talking about it, especially if it goes with this theme. Vietnam ranks second in our list of the most faithful wives in the world. With their vibrant personalities, Vietnamese wives take great pride in their unique qualities. I know they have to think of something to write in each one of these, but I'm also like, you're making them sound like they're stuck on themselves and they want to be Instagram models. They are known for their loyalty, beauty, and dedication. Vietnamese women are known to be strong and independent, but they also crave a nobleman. A nobleman. It doesn't say noble man. Nobleman. To whom they can offer their love and affection. Oh, wow. Well, I look at Vietnam like it's obviously a similar theme as China, South Korea, Japan, and probably whatever the number 1 is going to be. And Vietnam was colonized by the French, which is a Christian nation, Catholic. So you're going to have Catholic influence in Vietnam, but you're also probably going to have some Buddhist and maybe some communists, like no faith. So that's going to be a hit and miss, I think, in a lot of places. I think, but definitely a possibility, especially depending on what the rest of the lifestyle looks like for what you want to have and where you want to live. So I think that's, a great place to look into. But don't forget places like Colombia or even Russia. I mean, what does it hurt to look into it? What does it really hurt? And what I would say is forget whatever you think you know about these countries, because do we really know anything about anything if it's all what these powerful people have told us? Do we really know? You can't. You can't take their word for it. Especially when look, if they're not, you have to realize they're not looking at the men's issues. They're not looking at what men face. They won't talk about, men deciding to end their own existences. They won't talk about that. They won't deal with it. They want to, and some will say, well, it's because they just don't care. And I would say, they care about a good news story. They care about drama. They're purposely hiding it. And you have to say, okay, but why then? Why would they purposely be hiding it? And that's a great question. And we don't have to answer that right now. It's not really the purpose of my channel, although who knows, it might go that direction eventually, but it's not the purpose of the channel. But we have to see that they're trying to pretend like it's not going on. And you have to see that the government, no matter who's president, has always ended up being more left, going to the left. And the whole world, the whole Western world has gone to the left. And the reason I'm saying that is because, feminism was adopted pretty much everywhere all at once. And women's suffrage was pretty much everywhere all at once. And what did it do? It broke down the nuclear family. If you mean to tell me that they had no idea that it would break down the nuclear family, and they had no idea that breaking down the nuclear family would lead to breaking down of society, if you want to tell me that they just didn't know that, no. Look, if we can figure it out, they know it. It's their job to know it. They have purposely done this. So I totally forgot why we were even saying that, but I stand by whatever I just said. Number one is the Philippines, which is the one we're always saying, because that's the one I read about, is the Philippines. Ranking number one on the list of the most faithful wives in the world, it's a country from Southeast Asia, known as the Pearl of the Orient Seas, the ever-vibrant Philippines. The country is traditionally known to be a conservative country, where about 78.8% of its population are Roman Catholics. Filipino women are called Filipinas, a fictional character named Maria Clara, made by the Philippine national hero Jose Rizal from his book Noli Me Tangere, is considered an archetype of the ideal Filipina woman during the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines. The character of Maria Clara has become an iconic figure in the Philippines up to this date. A lot of Filipinas look up to Maria Clara as they try to follow and embody the virtues that were highly represented and shown by Maria Clara, such as obedience, chastity, and loyalty to family and societal expectations. These values that every Filipina wife possess make them worthy to be called the most faithful wives in the world. And not just faithful. There's a difference in, let me take these off. There's a difference in being faithful because you have to be, because you understand the consequences are dire, and faithful like, I want to be obedient, I want to be submissive to my man, to my husband. Chastity also, that's a choice. Like, I'm not going to be a hoe bag. And loyalty, obviously, again, that's a choice. And I think you men would much rather have that than, well, I better not do this because otherwise I have to chop my arms off. Or I can't do this because I'm never allowed to leave the tent, or, whatever dwelling is in. I know that was terrible, but whatever their dwelling is in Saudi Arabia or, Pakistan or something. Those women are under threat. And I think you guys would much rather it be her choice to not be a hoe bag. But also, you don't want it to be so available, So anyway, I think that was really good. I wonder if there are any other countries that we can think of besides the countries on that list. Like, I bet there's certain places in Eastern Europe that are still okay to go to, and it would probably be for the same reasons that Russia, and I mean the Ukraine, with everything that's going on. Who knows when that was written? I don't know, but you wouldn't want to go to Ukraine, I wouldn't think, now, because you don't want to die. or be conscripted, which is the same difference. So, but somewhere like Russia is going to be similar to, like, I don't know, Estonia, I don't know, Romania, bumping to Andrew Tate there, I don't know. But those places, because of their Christian Orthodox history, are going to have a culture that is a lot harder for feminism to penetrate. And that's where you're going to want to go. And you're not going to want to bring her back here. Do not bring her back here. Do not bring her back to anywhere where feminism can affect her. And make sure you understand what that is, like, affect her. I mean, I don't mean just don't let her have an Instagram account. I mean, like, do not let her near any of it. The music, the movies, the television shows. So you need to guard everything that's online, because even if you're in one of the countries that you don't really see it in their culture, the culture is just, with the internet, if, for example, you're on YouTube, it's people from all over the world. So you need to guard her the same way you would guard, a kid with what they see. And you're not hurting her. You're not hurting her by doing it. She's going to live a much happier life, not being tempted to do the things that will destroy her. Because that is exactly what happens. And it sounds familiar to me, like a certain person in a certain garden who was told by a total stranger that, hey, you should eat this because it'll be so much better for you. And she's like, okay, because she just couldn't say no to something maybe better or maybe more. We love those things. So, got to keep her away from the idea of the fruit, that the fruit even exists. Don't even let her know it exists. Then there's nothing. Then there's no temptation. Better if she's not hanging around all that forbidden fruit. It's just better. So, anyway, seriously, there's no need to be violent to yourself. You can find you can go one of these countries and find a woman, or you can live a solitary life, and it can be okay. It's going to be okay. So, number one, I want you to take care of yourselves. Be healthy. You're worth it. Do things that enrich your life, your mind, your body, your soul. Invest in yourself. And then I'll see you guys next time. Okay.